Okay, so costing a job up that's a bit more advanced. This is a more advanced sheet. If you've got very basic jobs, just stick with the basic calculator. But for a more advanced job, let's say you're doing like an extension or something like that, a loft conversion, something a bit more meatier with more trades, more stuff going on, I would use this more advanced sheet. So the layout is slightly different, but you've got prelims at the very top. This is a professional way of laying it out and working to. Then we've got our labour section, all the different elements of labour, and then we've got materials. Now, if you're an extensions company or you're doing bigger jobs and use the same materials over and over again, it's nice and handy to have the common materials that you use, and then you can just select them as we go, but I'll go through it in this video. And then lastly, we've got plant at the very bottom for anything that you might hire. Okay, so how this works is prelims. So prelims are things like building control fees, skips and stuff like that. So let's just say, in this example, you've got £700 building control fee. You would then just put in one there because you've got one of them. And then what this does is we can select margin on different items on this sheet. And the reason being is things like building control fees and skips, people can sort of know what they're going to cost. They can find out and get quotes for that type of stuff. So you might want to be a bit more competitive and put 10% margin on certain items or less or more or whatever, and then put more margin on other items that the client might not, well, they can't get firm prices on. So it just allows you to be a bit smarter on stuff. But that does depend on what you promote and send to your clients as a quote, how detailed you go on your quote. But this is just set up that you've got the option that you can change the margin on each different element and chop and change it, so you can play with it a little bit. But as long as you're overall making the right money, which I'll show you at the bottom. But yeah, skips. Let's say they're £300 each, and you've got five of them. This will just populate it again. So you've got £1,500 cost of skips. On this example, it's showing that you've got 2,200 for prelims cost to you. Okay, um, and then what I'll do is I'll just change that to 25, so it's nice and neat. Good. What this will do is go, right, that's the 25% margin, that's the profit added on, which means it's a total, that's the cost to the client. Yeah. So there's your profit, that's the cost of the client in that column. Then labour, same thing. You'd have all your guys, all of the people that you use, put their names in there, put their daily rates, what the total costing is to you, and then add in what days they're actually doing based on the scope of works. And obviously you're going to know this really inside out, knowing that what you do and how you operate. And this will give you the total costs. Again, the margins that you add on top of that. There's your profit in the middle column. And then the total is the cost to the client. Okay. Materials, same thing. You would go through this. I literally made this, guys, so you can just put in the cost of each material to you. Remember, it's excluding VAT at this point. How many you're going to need of them? You literally just type in what you're going to need, and it just populates it for you. So it's nice and easy. Okay. So based on this example, we've got a load of materials populated in there. You can just change this to whatever you want. The stairs you can change to rafters, for example, 4.2s, whatever, or it could be electrical cable. It could be absolutely anything. And then, you do it to suit on the price list that you've got from your suppliers. And then at the very bottom, we've got plant, same fashion. If you're hiring a crane, for example, it's in there, profits added on, and then you've got a total. So what this has done, it said this job is going to cost, on this example, 33,566.60. That's your cost to deliver the job, and then you've got the margin on there of 25% across the board, which means there'd be a profit of £11,188 on the job. And then total to the client is 44,755 excluding VAT. Okay, so that just makes that really nice and easy. And like I say, you can play around with the margins on each individual item, or you can just change all of them to suit, and then do it that way. So an easy way of doing that, just to give you a tip, is if you change this to 20%, so you do a drop down menu there next to it. If you select the green box in the corner and drag that down, that'll change all of them to 20%. And it will show you that you still got 25 on the prelims, but you've got 20 on the labour and 25 on the materials. And that changes it. So the profit was previously showing 11-ish grand. Now it's now showing 9,753. So you can play around with the figures, because when you've got bigger jobs, you might mix and match things. It's not as straight cut. You know what's going to work for you. But it's just made so easy, this sheet, that it's easy to price work. It's a nice, simple, clear cut way, and you just know, great, that's the average margin that's what the job's making. You know you've got just shy of £10,000 profit on the job, and that's what the customer's paying. So this is the relevant figure to you. This figure doesn't change. The cost is the cost. It costs 33 grand to do the job. It's this profit bit that's the exciting bit and the good bit for you, and you know what you're getting out of it. So you can download this sheet below the video. This is really going to help you really understand pricing jobs properly. Dead easy, nice and simple.